What's up, investors and traders? Welcome to yet another video. In today's video, guys, we're going to be doing something a little bit special as we have a special guest on today. This is going to be Amit. All right, guys, Amit is a very well-known investor in Palantir. Okay, he has a lot of knowledge regarding Palantir on his channel, and as you guys know, we are perma bulls on Palantir, whether the stock is at $20 a share, whether the stock is at $30 a share, or when the stock is at $9 a share. We are bullish, and we are bullish AF. And there's only a couple of companies that I could say this about, and those companies are, I'm just going to give it to you right now. You know what, screw it, I'm going to give it to you right now. These are the Palantirs, these are the Neos, these are the charge points, and finally, Tesla, of course, and one more. This isn't necessarily a company, but it is an asset class. This is going to be Ethereum. We are perma bulls on Ethereum as well, okay? This is one of our biggest positions in our investment community. And listen, if you guys want to join the trailer community, if you guys want to trade with us, our portfolio has been up over 140% in just the previous two months of trading and just buying and selling stocks. This isn't even with options. We've just been buying and selling stocks, and our portfolio is up over 140% in two months, okay? I mean, where do you see these gains? Okay, do check out the Patreon, guys. The link is in the comment section and the description. This video is also brought to you guys by Moomoo. You guys can now get six free stocks using our link down below, guys. Basically, all you do is that you deposit $100, you make an account, deposit $100, and then they give you 6 free stocks valued upwards of $3,500, guys. This is free money, okay? This is literally free money, me giving it to you guys, okay? And all it takes is 10 minutes to go down there, make an account, get those 6 free stocks. And listen, you don't like the platform? I'm telling you guys, you're gonna love the platform, because the platform has everything your regular trading platform has and more. It lets you look into the options contracts. It lets you look into the short interest. It lets you look into the institutional holdings and everything, okay? But let's say you don't like the program. Well, what do? You go ahead, sell those free stocks, get your money out, get your $100, stick them together, take your money out, bam, free money glitch, just like that, okay? Do check out our guys through Moomoo. The link is in the description and the comment section, and also both my Twitter handle and Amit's Twitter, and also the link to Amit's channel is that link down in the description. So do check them out as well, guys. You're gonna find a lot of value, especially if you are a Palantir investor. Now, let's get this video on me and Amit's interview.
Okay, nice to meet you, bro.
How are you?
Happy to talk. I'm doing well. How have you been?
I'm good. Busy, as always.
Gotta be busy, right? It's better to be busy than not be busy.
For sure, man. For sure. That's the thing, especially when you're doing your own thing, better be busy.
Better be busy. If you're not busy, you're not working.
No, seriously though, how are you regarding YouTube, the startup, everything? First of all, who are you? Tell us that.
So we started the podcast, right?
Started it. We're recording, baby.
Yeah. So my name is Amit. I am a 24-year-old in New Jersey with big dreams. Yeah, my name is Amit. Look, I do a couple things. I have a startup, I have a consulting firm, and I obviously have a YouTube channel. Been into stocks and finance really for the past 4 or 5 years, but started going actively from a content creation perspective over the past 6 months, I would say. It's been a fun journey. Main stock I talk about on my YouTube channel is Palantir. I also have a website that I launched called dailypalantir.com, where I cover a lot of the stuff going on in the company. And yeah, that's pretty much me.
Who better to have that website than you?
Well, no, a lot of people have. So we launched the website 2 days ago, and it's done decently well over the past couple of days. Been a decent launch, and yeah, I think the thing that comes with someone who's going to launch a website that has the word daily inside of it, it's
yeah, God better be daily.
Better be daily. The thing I've noticed about content is content is such a commodity, right? Everyone's making it. It exists everywhere. So it's if you can even get one person, or let alone 100 people's attention to actually care about your stuff, it's something to be grateful for in this day and age. 1980.
Right. Clickbait. All right.
Yeah, and that's the other thing.
I'm just playing.
No, well, I think there's a way to clickbait someone, but deliver on the click. Because clickbait is inevitable. You got to get people to want to click. The question is, do you live up to the promise of that click? And I think, again, if you're going to do something daily, because content is such a commodity that exists in the world, you've got to be innovative and unique in the content you put out, and you've got to be consistent. So I think why people are saying it's good for me to do it is because I've been pretty consistent over the past couple months.
That's so important.
In a world in which the stock that I'm covering has declined, right? And it's not I'm still pumping out content. So that's why I think it's
one thing, you know, as a content creator as well that covers stocks and stuff, I do more trading, right? I do more day-to-day price action and etc. But it's been really motivating just understanding that, look, we're in a bear market. You know, we're like, this is low traffic right now. We're not doing well right now. You know what I'm saying? From a standpoint of just industry wise, the YouTube finance industry isn't doing well right now. Like people aren't tuning in. People aren't, this isn't a gold rush like Bitcoin was, for example, earlier. You know what I'm saying? Like it's nothing like that right now. And we're still, you know, I'm seeing your numbers, man. You putting up those numbers. You're doing LeBron numbers out here, my friend.
All right, don't
Good for you, man. Good for you.
Not LeBron numbers. Not second graded score of all time type of stuff.
No. You doing? Listen, man. For a man that's been on YouTube for 6 months, you putting up LeBron numbers, and you deserve it, bro. Because the content that you're delivering, right, from a Palantir perspective, and just from, you know, I think one of the things that's also been so crucial to your success, right, has been personality, you know. And I think that's something that you've understood so well, where it's like, okay, people are tuning in, they're gonna also meet Amit. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, bro? They're gonna get to know me, and that's also been a really good angle that you've been approaching it with. So tell me more about that. Like, how important do you think that is from a content creator aspect?
Yeah, well, I think it's everything, because I think at the end of the day, you and me, we are part of that niche on YouTube that reports the news and gives our analysis on the news. So like there are YouTube creators that can post one video a week and put up major numbers because it's like an entertainment video. It's like people really want to see, like Mr. Beast or something like that. But you and me, like if something happens with Mullen stock or something and you're not reporting it the day it happens, those just don't go to you. So it's like our challenge is constantly finding news to put out every day, but retaining the attention comes from personality. It comes from why would I click on Amit's take on this versus someone else's take on this?
And you know, that's the thing too. You know, sometimes personally, I'm going to meet Kevin out. You know what I'm saying? I'm dropping like 4 a day. I'm going crazy out here. Okay. So sometimes the problem that I have with that personally is I catch myself saying the same things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Right. And I think one thing that you're very good at, right? And I think I found your channel when you were around 2K-ish a while back. Not a while back. It was like 3 weeks ago or something. Yeah. But no, seriously though, when was it? It was a couple of months ago, let's say. And I remember you saying how you have a background in debating. And I was like, that's it. This guy's gonna blow. This guy's gonna blow up, because so much of like just being able to talk, you know, being able to talk, having that camera presence, knowing what to say next, so much, that's so important. That's so important, especially when you're here daily, just talking and talking. And you know, one thing that I've really liked, one thing that's been very like inspiring for me is going back to my videos, you know, about a year ago and just comparing, you know, and I'm like, damn, I came a long way. I can't believe people even watched that shit. I mean, I can't, I'm like, who watched this? Like, I just can't believe it. You know, I can't believe it. It was just so bad, you know? And I know that a year from now, I'm going to look back at the content that I'm dropping right now. And hopefully I'll say the same thing. You know what I'm saying?
It's the journey of a content creator starting off, you know, you got to get some reps in. And I think the idea of debate, you know, I didn't, obviously I knew debate was very important and like it helped me become a speaker, but with YouTube, I didn't realize how important it was, because the whole thing about the reason I think I was able to grow quickly is because I was dropping 3 or 4 a day, but as you said, those 3 or 4 weren't repeat random stuff. So it's like, it was new, it was quality stuff 3 to 4 a day. So I think a lot of people were impressed by just like, oh, this guy's dropping a lot of stuff. He's got
a lot to say. He's got a
lot to say. And it's like the only way you get a lot to say is if you can think of stuff to say, and that comes from debate. So yeah. So I definitely gotta work on that. And the thing is, you know, I'm learning a lot more as well. You know, I'm learning as I'm going, and I think that's such a big opportunity for me as well. You know, in the YouTube space, where for you as well, I bet, where it's you get to learn and grow. You know, that is such a blessing, honestly. Like, to have this opportunity has just been, it's been crazy. It's been crazy. I think the nature of the platform is that like the platform wants you to grow over time, and the only way you grow over time is if you get better. And you get better by constantly putting out more videos.
Yeah.
In the game.
Yeah, that's facts. So tell me about Audea.
You want to know about Audea? Okay.
I want to know about Audea. I want to know
So,
about you. I want to know first of all, I want to know what made you go towards, because listen, like audio is the now, right? You know, people like to say audio is the future. Nah, bro. Audio is now. You know, biggest platform in the whole world, Joe Rogan podcast. You know what I'm saying? Like audio, man just locked in, like how much he locked in? 300 million or something, like some crazy number like that, right? So audio is now, right? Audio is now. So how much did that have to do with Audea, right? With you going towards the kind of audio platform and, you know, etc. And how much of it was just different things?
So the point you're bringing up is a macro level thesis for why I think Audea can be successful. So for people who don't know Audea, it's a search engine for audio. I would call it a YouTube of audio. We are trying to create a platform where people can get discovered for their audio ideas or audias. Now, your argument is like, all right, audio is exploding. This is a platform that can capitalize on it, which is true. And it's great to sell that argument to investors. But that wasn't the reason I started it. The reason I started it was because I had these ideas in my head that were in spoken word. Why were they? Now, I wanted to be a musician. I wanted to be the next Michael Jackson. I quickly realized I was doing Billie Jean lip syncing at a talent show. Like I was that.
Okay.
I gotta show you the video of it one day.
You're gonna give us a little rundown right now? Just a little.
I was just
let's go.
I was into it. So music was my original dream.
Maybe the Mullen CEO could help you out.
Maybe the Mullen CEO would help us. So music was my original dream, but music was audio, right?
Yeah.
And as I got to high school, I realized I couldn't sing. I didn't have musical talent. So I still wanted to communicate ideas to the world. I didn't want to do it through writing. I didn't want to do it through like movies. I wanted to do it through audio, but I didn't have the ability to sing. So that's when I realized, wait a second, because of debate, I can do spoken word. I can like talk my ideas out into the world. So a couple of years ago, I got this idea around 2020 of like, what if I could make a speaking album? Like instead of a music album, what if I could have a speaking album of like 10 TED Talks in a cohesive album? And each of those talks is like a single off my album, just like musicians have songs that are single. Like, could we create a new brand or genre of content creator? And I would refer to them as the speaking rock star that is able to put out spoken word content, get distribution for their spoken word content, and then package that content just like a musician would package their content with an album and a single. And then I realized, okay, well, I didn't even have the idea for Audea at the time. I just wanted to put the content out there. So I went to Spotify and Apple because I was like, these are the audio platforms, right? I have an audio product. This is audio. Like that was synonymous. It's like Spotify, Apple, audio. And then I go there and I just didn't like what I saw because I saw like music. I'm like, all right, I'm not going to do music. And by the way, Spotify is in bed with all the record labels for good reason. So I'm like, Spotify's not going to give me distribution of my music. So like, why is that going to help? And then Apple. I'm like, Apple Podcast is like, what is they have the Wall Street Journal on the front page and all these like New York Times. I'm like, well, they're definitely not going to care about little old Amit. No. And I also realized like I don't have a podcast. That like the ideas I want to get out into the world are audio ideas. They're ideas that I want to live forever. They're ideas that I think can be valuable, but they're not meant to be associated in like the Amit Cook Radio podcast distributed through an RSS feed. So that's when I got the idea. I was like, well, YouTube is the world's platform for video. People upload videos and they can rank in search for videos. And there's a lot of discovery that happens there. If that could happen for audio and the audio market is exploding and people are putting out audio on the daily at an exponential rate, then maybe there could be a platform that could centralize all that content and create a supply and demand of attention for creators to get discovered and for consumers to actually find audio. Because one of the other biggest problems in the audio industry is it's incredibly difficult to find audio because you go on Spotify, what do they put in front of you? Joe Rogan. Why? Because they gave him 100 million. So they got to get an ROI. So I'm not going to discover Trade the Trader, even if I care about day trading on Spotify, because what do I see on Spotify is Joe Rogan. Whereas YouTube, I might discover you. And I think if we could build what YouTube has built for audio, then I think that could be big.
Yeah, that's huge. So how are you? I mean, I don't know shit about the technicals, to be honest with you, but so you're doing the algorithm way, right? Are you kind of like looking at it from an algorithm perspective, like based and etc., instead of just numbers and rankings like Spotify and Apple Music are doing?
At 1000%. So it's like, so Audea is an algorithmic recommendation engine for audio ideas. And our algorithm is very elementary right now. To be honest, it's not that amazing because we don't have that much data, but there is an algorithm. When I would argue some of those platforms, Spotify and Apple, they don't even have an algorithm. And that sounds crazy. Like these are multi-billion companies. How do they not have an algorithm?
They do, bro. Spotify does.
Spotify does
you ever shuffle music and it's like
right. So, but that's my point. That's my point. For music, they have an algorithm, right? When have you discovered like a new audio idea in spoken word just randomly pop into your feed?
No.
Very difficult. A new Justin Bieber song, a new Quavo song, yes.
Yeah.
So like that's kind of my thesis around audio. It's like there's so many people creating spoken word content, but if they put it on Spotify, it sits at the bottom of an RSS feed and it dies. And if you're making music and you put it on Spotify, you better hope to God you have a political connection in there that can get you on a playlist.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, if you're a podcaster, Spotify has paid $700 million to get exclusive content. Why do you think they're going to put your stuff in front of people versus that stuff?
Yep.
So to me, at that point, I don't think there's a real recommendation engine for spoken word audio. There is for music. But again, we discussed sort of the politics of music. So if Audea could be an open sourced recommendation engine for audio ideas to get discovered, then I think that could work.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So, one thing that I think kind of brings everything together, right? And it's something that I love talking about is, between content creating and you wanting to be Michael Jackson and the startup, right? Ideas, Audea, right? All together. I think one thing that stands out is the common, the Venn diagram would be creativity.
Yeah.
And how much do you think that plays a role into just growth as an entrepreneur, as everything, as a content creator, as anything?
Well, if you're not creative, you're not going to survive to do anything, whether it's content creator, business. Like creativity is so interesting because it's like what is creativity? It's this idea that you can, to me, I think the definition of creativity is you telling yourself you will figure it out. Like you will just figure it out. Whatever that means is whatever you can create out of figuring it out. So like, I think if you have the ability to, so when I think of a video idea, I see a headline and I think, how could this be a video? How could this be an article? How could this be talked about for 10 minutes? How could I add elements, blah, 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 blah. And my mind just starts racing and racing to the point where I have too many ideas to not create them.
Yeah.
And so I think that's important. And I think the second thing outside of actually getting the ideas is, do you want people to care about your ideas? Because if you don't want people to care about your ideas, I don't know how creative you are, because part of the portion of creating is because you want consumption behind it. Like you want the world to know what you've got to say.
Yeah.
So I think if you have those two elements, it helps to be a lot more creative. And if you don't have those two elements, creativity can
Damn, bro. Somebody else got to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just hold on. Let me see what this is saying. Got to deal with this. We back, baby. We back. Yeah, so you were saying part of creativity is wanting consumption of your ideas and how much you want your ideas to actually be consumed by other people, them coming in, right? Now, personally, right, I got some ideas, right? I got some ideas for the future, right? I'm trying to go into the luxury fashion industry, right? Which is so creative based, right? So it's like creativity is like my bread and butter, basically. Right. And I think the way I think of creativity, right, the way I like to visualize it kind of are these two knobs, right? If you were to put it, where it's reality and fiction. And when you balance them perfectly is where you get to that sweet spot of a perfect consumable piece of creativity. Because if you go too crazy with creativity, then it's hard for people to kind of connect to you, right? Kind of, if you were to put it the Drake way, you know how easily consumable Drake's music is, like my mom knows Drake, right? You know what I'm saying, right? Yeah. But at the same time, when it comes to that, is like I feel like that kind of puts a boundary onto your creativity, right? Does that make sense?
Right? Yeah, I mean, it's a question of like, how can you get other people to understand the stuff you're creating?
Yeah. And I think one thing that you said on your Twitter, which I found very interesting, was communication, right? Importance of being able to communicate ideas, right? So why don't you go a little further in that?
Yeah, I mean, I think communication is the only thing that matters. I think a lot of people think other stuff matters and they're wrong. The only thing that matters is can you communicate an idea and get people. Now, communication takes a lot of different mediums, right? It could be a TikTok, it could be blah blah blah, it could be anything. But if you don't know how to communicate, and I think speaking is one of the best ways to actually communicate because it's a universal form of like communication.
Yeah.
Then it's hard to get anything done, right? You could be like the strongest entrepreneur person who has ideas in the world, but if you can't get other people to believe in your ideas, you're dead. Like your ideas are dead as well. So to me, I just think communication is everything. I think this also comes from my background with debate, right? It's like when I was in debate tournaments, I had to get the judge to vote for me. And in
Yeah.
order to get them to vote for me, I had to communicate something.
Dude, I'm telling you, like, seeing how well you are able to communicate has already made up my mind that, like, when I have kids, them motherfuckers going to debate school. All right. They're going to debate class. All right. Because it's so factual what you're saying. The fact that you're able to communicate your ideas, you know, that you're able to kind of package them in a consumable form. Right. Because I bet the way you say the things aren't how they come to your head. Right. They come to your head in like bits and pieces, and you're able to formulate them together. And I think, you know, as a content creator on YouTube as well, you know, one of the things that I really like so much about content creating, and, you know, my form of content is a little bit different. You know, my audience is kind of like my videos aren't necessarily super information filled, right? Is I have some information and then I'm just talking, you know, I'm just talking about it and I'm just giving it to them, right? Or it's just this free flow. And I think one of the things that I like about it so much is that I'm in an almost flow state. When I'm filming, that's all I'm thinking about. I'm just thinking about what's the next thing I'm going to say? What's the next thing I'm going to say? What's the next thing I'm going to say? Where there's like literally nothing else in my head. And I love that so much. Like it's crazy. And, you know, one other thing that kind of gets me like that, where it's like things are just happening, right? Regarding the flow state, you know, I'm a aspiring stand-up comedian as well, right?
Love it.
So it's kind of like that too, you know, where you're telling a joke, or not even when you're telling a joke, right? Because one of the things that I don't like so much about stand-up comedy is because it takes the authenticity out of humor. You know what I'm saying? It takes the in the momentness out of humor, right? That's one of the things I was don't like it. But when it comes to the in the moment authentic humor, right, where it's like it's like these ideas, right, and these jokes, they just come out of me in the moment, where it's like I'm not even thinking. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's kind of where I find the best humor to kind of come out of, where it's just like it's out. You know what I'm saying? Something happens and then it's out, and I'm just like, who said that? Like, where did that come from? You know what I'm saying? Which is so crazy. Just so crazy, man.
Yeah, I think that the idea of just like getting people to like, when you're in that flow state, it matters. So like when I make a YouTube video, I just I have an idea of what I'm going to say. I press record. I start talking. I don't have a script.
Yeah,
that's it. And like I put the words together. And I think same thing with stand-up comedy. Like when you can make a good joke right on the spot off of a punchline that someone else said and bounce ideas off of them, it matters a lot. Yeah,
that's fine. All right, now moving a little bit more towards, you know, Palantir, Mr. Palantir. You know what I'm saying? Because you are Mr. Palantir now. You know, you body Tom Nash, bro. I hope you know that. Tom don't got nothing on you, bro. I hope you know
Tom
that.
doesn't want to be Mr. Palantir. That's the difference.
Yeah, you know? Yeah, that's true. He's Mr. Politics now, it seems. He running for president or what? Let's see. What's he running for? Next Meet Kevin. You seen Meet Kevin's tweet about how he's going against AOC or something like that?
I thought that was a joke. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know, bro. That Tesla plan seemed legit. Gonna teach kids engineering. But yeah, actually, you know what? Now that we're talking about Meet Kevin, let's talk about Meet Kevin, you know? Because how do you feel about him going on his parade? You know, I saw you tweet a little bit saying, did he time the market? What do you think about that? About him getting out and getting back in?
I mean, honestly, I don't care. I mean, like he did his. I think part of the reason he did it was to
listen, Amit. We're trying to put together clips here, my friend. All right. I don't care. It's not gonna sell it. All right. So come on, man. Come on. Give me something.
But it's honest. I think he did his own thing.
Challenge him to a celebrity boxing or something. All right. Get us trending over here. Okay, Amit. No, but I'm just fucking around though. But seriously, what do you think about it?
Yeah, again, I don't care. I mean, he did his own thing. He had fun. I think also like it's a good YouTube move because it gets people excited. I mean, you can't deny that a lot of people are more interested in him now. And I also genuinely think that he thought that things were going to get bad and he sold, and then things got better and he went back in. Now, maybe things get still really bad and he loses a lot in the market.
That's it, right? Things got better and he got back in.
Right.
Things didn't get worse, right? And I think this is something where he's kind of trying to formulate this narrative around, I was right. You see, I was right. And it's like, no, dude, you said the world was going to burn down. You said the Titanic was going to happen. You said the recession, S&P 500 was going to go down 50%. You said all these things. And then you bought back in when, okay, you bought back in a little bit cheaper. It's true. But it's like, okay, the S&P 500 was like 2% away from where you got in, or you got out rather. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's called marketing.
Yeah, and I don't. That's the thing, though, right? I don't like that, man. I don't like the narrative that he's kind of building around that.
Right? I mean, you cannot like it, but it's working.
It's
like
working.
That's my thing. It's like
eating that up. He was right. You see, it's crazy.
Yeah, see, I'm not on the train that he was fully right. He timed the market perfectly, but regardless of him getting in 2% lower, he was able to reverse the image that people had that he's a super flip-flopper and all this stuff. And some people are always going to think he's bad for doing that, but
yeah,
man, he did what he did.
No, man, but like all jokes aside though, and all criticism aside, that man's a legend. You know, that man's actually like he's a YouTube finance icon, if you were to put it, you know. So, you know, who inspired you? What inspired you to come out here and just, you know, create content? Because for me, it was a mixture of this this day trader that I used to watch since about 2016-ish, 2017, 2016-ish, Warrior Trading, right? And his content I consumed a lot. And then Meet Kevin's I consumed a lot. Tom Nash's I consumed a lot. Jeremy's, right? And I was like, I was seeing these guys talk, and I was like, they're not really saying anything that crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like I understand what they're saying, and I could literally like package it my own way and give it to people, right? So you know, like there wasn't such a big gap between our knowledge. Almost, it felt that way. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of have the same feeling when I was trying to like starting YouTube. I mean, I saw the same people you saw, and I was like, yeah, I think I could do the same thing they're doing. Which it's true, anyone can be a YouTuber, right?
And I think that's so important, knowing that anyone could do that, right? And I read this comment, you know, because I commented something under a Grant Cardone video, saying like Grant's showing us. This was like a comment I posted like a year ago or something. It was like Grant's showing us that you don't need to be smart to be a millionaire. Right. And it's like, and someone replied to my comment saying, you only have to be smarter than your audience, which is fact, is facts. Right. Yeah. That is factual.
Yeah, I would agree on that. And I think like, because I thought that I had the ability to do it, I just kind of, there was no creator I looked at that was like, oh, I'm going to do it now that they do it. It's kind of just like, maybe I could, you know, talk, and like, I did it.
Yeah. And I bet, you know, you've been a talker, you know, like we said, the debate stuff.
Right. Yeah, that was the other thing. I was like, well, I know how to talk, and if all you have to do here is talk, then like let's try it out. I mean, like maybe something works at this point. And you know, if it does, then that would be great.
Yeah. So another thing that launched, like the way I set out my YouTube channel to get a little bit of boost, right, was that I started off TikTok. Right? I started off TikTok, and I built somewhat of a following there, you know. I started a little back and forth with one of the biggest investment people there, right, on the platform, right? A little, you know, heating it up. I forgot his name right now, but what was his name? He's huge now. Like he is huge. He makes like, he was on Forbes and everything. Like, but our little back and forth was regarding Airbnb stock when it came public. IPO'd, and I was like, yo, that shit is overrated, don't buy it, guys. And he was like, buy it. Well, I mean, now he seems right, you know, but at the time I thought that they weren't necessarily pricing in the fact that, you know, COVID's going to remain and like COVID's going to be around, which have been right, you know, but other than the market conditions, it seems as he's been right? So that's what I kind of use in order to catapult my channel into, you know, a spotlight almost. Right now, one thing that I realized, one thing that also I think we both can agree has helped you get massive eyeballs, has been the Tom Nash guests and etc. Right? So tell me about your relationship with Tom. How did that come to work? And
yeah, I literally messaged him like you messaged me on Twitter, and I was just like, yo, could I do you want to be on the show? I know I don't have a lot of subscribers, and he said yes, and he was really nice. And yeah, he's just a stand-up guy. He just said yes. And when he said yes, I took advantage of the opportunity. I think, you know, I got the opportunity, which was important. And then I gave him a good reason to want to come back. And then he just kept coming back, and it helped. I will give all credit to him. It helped me a lot in terms of just getting some credibility in the space, given how big his name is.
Yeah.
yeah, and then and then we just became friends, and now we're kind of buddies.
Yeah, no, Tom's awesome, man. Tom's awesome. I really appreciate, like I was saying, like coming from a background of comedy, I always appreciate someone trying to put out humor, and although his humor may not be A1, okay, but he's trying, and I really appreciate that. I really appreciate him trying to entertain his audience and kind of, being a little bit silly at times,
Yeah, I think he's one of those people that brought the level of just like, it's just stocks. It doesn't have to be that serious.
Yeah,
make it kind of fun.
exactly.
And, like,
Exactly. I think that's so important, right? I think that's so important for people to understand, because at the end of the day, it is just stocks. I know there's a lot of money on the line. There's everything going on, but it's just stocks. Let's be honest. It's nothing. It's nothing. And if you can kind of give it to people in a way where, again, right, they're enjoying, they're getting value and entertainment, right? And I think that's what Tom does so well, right? Where he gives value in again, like we were saying earlier, right, in a consumable form, right, in a consumable package, easy to understand, easily broken down, right? I would say one thing though. I would say one criticism for Tom, right? He says, don't buy nothing, don't like nothing, don't smash nothing, whatever. And then at the end of every video, he's like, dude, check out the Patreon. Right? And it's like, come on, Tom, come on. But I get it though. The don't like nothing, don't smash nothing has stuck now, right? But way before he probably had the Patreon. So now it's a little bit. But tell me, why don't you have a Patreon?
I do have a Patreon.
You do have a Patreon? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Because I never see you like even talk about it or anything.
Yeah, I don't mention. I kind of put it in the description of the video. I don't really talk about it because sometimes I get annoyed by talking about it. I don't want to like sell it all the time. But I talk about it in the morning live stream before I end my live stream every day. I say, hey guys, Patreon in the description. I think Patreon's a good way to just like have a direct monetary support from your audience. It kind of shows how much your audience really cares about you. Yeah. And and then you get to create a community with them, because most of the time people start in Discord. And in that Discord, if you can really make it valuable for people, then they stick around.
Exactly. So what I was thinking, I thought that you didn't have a Patreon and you were waiting for the ask to come in when Audea was ready. That's what I was thinking. But then I was going to say that it's good to launch a Patreon, because then your paying base.
Yeah.
Who's actually there to support you and like ride out almost.
100%. Yeah, that was my logic, because I was going to start it around Audea launch as well. But then I was like, it would be nice to kind of get some research before I do that. And I launched it, I think 2 weeks ago. When I launched it when I had 9,995 subs or something. I launched it right before 10K, because I was like, all right, here's my 10K kind of like celebration. And the celebration is kind of like, all right, if you really support, now
that's awesome.
And out of 10K, I have 64 Patreons.
That's awesome.
So it's awesome, but it's also not a great conversion rate.
It's really not. I'm at 5K, but the thing is though, mine is a little bit different, right? Because I am selling a product almost, right? It's my trade alerts, right? It's my trade alerts and it's the courses, right? Through Patreon. And that's the thing, right? That's the thing where like, I'm so happy doing that, where the weekly lessons, I sell them through the Patreon instead of instead of a one-time payment. Because that way you can try it out. You can pay $20, $30, however much you pay, right? And then if you don't like it, you leave. You maybe consume all the content and you leave. But the thing about that as well is, the thing I'm doing right now is I'm building the catalog, right? So that's also another way of just getting paid as I'm building the catalog, as to maybe in the future, I'll move it to a one-time payment, like Meet Kevin or, Zip Trader and all these other guys.
Right. Yeah. No, it makes sense to me.
I'm saying, yeah. I'm sitting at around 80, 84, 85-ish.
84 Patreons?
Yeah, we're doing good.
How much do you charge a month?
Anywhere from $5 to 50.
5 to 50 is your scale. Okay. And you have 80 Patreons. It's not bad. It's good.
Yeah. It makes around USD wise around 800-ish right now.
See, $800 a month extra. That's big. That helps, man. And YouTube, it's hard to get that from ad revenue,
Exactly.
So not bad at all.
Yeah, no. So again, we keep going towards freaking Palantir and we keep going somewhere else. But okay, so how did you even stumble upon Palantir? What was your first reaction, first impression of Palantir as a company, PLTR as a stock, all of it?
It was around April-ish 2021. I saw the stock was at like $23 and I didn't know much about it, but I was just like, I feel like these guys are like massively under, like I knew a little bit about what they did. And I was just like, this seems like a company that's probably going to be really big eventually. And so I bought a couple of shares because I was like, it's tech. It's like, you know, they're one of those premier names. I saw Kathy started buying. I was like, oh, so like there's a lot of interest there from ARK. And then over time, I just dived deeper into it because I kept buying more. By the time I had 500 shares, I was like, I should really like go deeper just because I had 500 shares on a baseline assumption, so like $10,000 or something. I was like, now I want to understand a little bit more. Because I want to have a minimum of like 10,000 in every stock that I'm in. So like I want to get to that minimum amount because I had conviction, but I didn't have the level of conviction that I really, you know, eventually have now to the point where I'm launching a whole blog over them. So I just went deeper into them, learned more and more. And then at one point I was just like, wait a second, these guys are going to be everywhere. Like when it's time. So then I was just like, let me just put more money into them and go deeper into them and start making content about them. Because I was just, the thing I'm so infatuated by is this, the philosophical mission that they have about not only protecting Western values, but making things way more efficient and productive and effective given what their software can do. And like, I think at that point, it's very difficult for other companies to compete with them. And if they can figure out the sales problems that they have, because they're not that good at sales, but they're great at product, then I think they got a shot to be big.
Okay. So going back to the sales, right? What you were saying, I think that's their problem as well, right? Where it's scalability, right? They have problems scaling where it feels like, you know, like Tom has this idea, put out this idea saying that in order for Palantir to reach $1 trillion, they need to have a product for consumer, like everyday me and you to consume, right? And I think that, what, you good, bro?
Yeah,
staring at me like a madman. God damn,
bro. You're sexy, so I'm just looking.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. You as well. But then, yeah. Anyways, I was saying, yeah. So he was saying that you need a consumer base, right? You need a consumer base, everyday consumer base, like you and I, in order to reach $1 trillion. And then from there, right? That's the thing. That's where their scalability becomes. It's so easily scalable, right? It's so easily scalable. So what would you say, right, other than the sales aspect, other than the scalability aspect, would be Palantir's Achilles heel, if you were to put it? What could cause Palantir's downfall?
Well, there's a lot of things that can cause Palantir's downfall. I mean,
that's not good. I know investors watching are shaking right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's a risk.
What did he say?
it's a risky stock. I mean, if their government business slows down, if the SPACs don't work out, if they can't sell their product, there's a lot of issues.
SPACs aren't that big of a deal, though. You know, like,
well, from an investment,
you get one Achilles heel. Get one of them.
One Achilles heel would be their inability to sell the product. That would be my biggest Achilles heel.
I said other than that, my friend.
Oh, you said other than that?
I said other than that.
It would be the governmental. If they can't convince the government that their technology, which is more expensive than other similar technologies, is worth the extra expenses, then they're not going to capture the $56 billion TAM that they estimate exists in the government. Now, granted, if commercial keeps growing the way it's growing, it's not the worst in the world, but investors are not going to be happy if their government business is not keeping up with commercial. Now, granted, governmental business grew 47% last year in revenue, but the number of clients they had stayed the same. It was 90 last year. It's 90 this year. So they weren't able to get more clients. And that's where investors were freaking out a little bit. Yeah. So yeah, I would say governmental business could be the Achilles heel.
Yeah, and I think somebody did say something about that. I don't know if it was you covering it or someone else, where they were like, yeah, the government contracts don't come in until a certain time. Something like that.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's like, it's kind of weird because it's like the government just approved a new federal budget plan, 700 billion in defense. They're going to have to spend all of that by like July to like source all these vendors. So like, I think within the next 2 quarters, we're going to see a lot of upside for Palantir, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. And another thing regarding that Achilles heel as well, it feels like it's a matter of time with it.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's just there's only so much government, right? Especially when you're a company that has such high morals and they only want to keep Western ideology and they don't want to, which I love. I love that about them, right? I totally love that about them, where it feels like, okay, I'm investing in an ethical company, borderline ethical, let's say. Okay, I'm investing in an ethical company, right? Where they're not willing to kind of help other countries that the US is against, and etc., just from a monetary gain standpoint. But like we were saying, right, it is just a matter of time. It does feel like it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, I agree. And hopefully over time they end up proving that they were legit.
The commercial sector. I think that's what, and that's the thing as well, right? I think Justin and Tom were discussing that, where it's like they need to have a product where they could sell. I don't know if it was Justin or the other guy that Tom has on, the Russian dude as well. It was the earnings day when he was doing it.
Oh, Sasha,
yeah. So he was saying about how they need to have a product that's a little bit easier to sell to maybe mid-level companies, not so much the big companies. You know what I'm saying, right?
Right. Yeah, like making it smaller, right? So instead of a company buying like 20 million of Palantir, can they buy 2 million of Palantir? Because then you can get more 2 million contracts.
Exactly.
And like
exactly. Yeah. Right. Now, moving on to the next question. So what would you say is your, now we're going to price target, all right? We're going there. Okay, so what is your Palantir price target for 2025?
I think they should be able to get to 100 by 2025. Now, granted,
100 by 2025.
I think that's very possible. This is only possible if they get, it could be 200 by 2025, but it's a question of can they get to that 50-60% growth over the next, I would say, 8 quarters. Okay. Now they're guiding for 30%. I think this year they last year they did 40% year over year. If this year they can do 45 and then next year 55-ish, and then we're inching towards 60 by 2024, then I think we have a chance for Wall Street, especially when it's a bull market.
Yeah.
And growth and value stocks aren't as compressed, then it's possible. But granted, I mean, conservatively, I don't think there's any reason we shouldn't get to at least 40 by 2025.
Yeah.
But you know, I could be wrong on this. It could stay flat or it could go down. But I do think what's inevitable is they will have a Tesla-like moment where the world recognizes, oh shit, this is real. Especially with the retail community starting to get into Palantir. But you know, I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon. So, especially if we have a recession. If we have a recession, all bets are off the table. We're heading to $5. Like, it's happening.
You think that $5 article is going to come reality?
If we get into a recession, nothing's off the table. Nothing. Because if the S&P goes to 3,800, I mean, it's gonna be bad.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so 2030 then. $100 2025. What's 2030?
Well, 2030, if they can grow from the DCF model I've done 36% year over year with 35% adjusted operating margins, they will be a $263 stock for my DCF, give or take, you know, $5-10. So like 250 is my real target.
Hear that? Sell the house. Palantir going all in, baby.
But it's risky because those margins have to be up there, right? Right now they're not even profitable. So like we've got a long way to go.
But they're close to profitability.
Well, they're close, but they would be profitable if they didn't have stock.
Yeah, they're all the SBC, all that, yeah.
So that's why I'm just like, wait a second. Like, I really do think this is a rocket ship, and I don't think people get it yet. And you don't have many moments in your life when you find a company that's, because most companies, there's 4,000 public companies, 99% of them are shit. There's 10 or 20 that actually are really, like, what product, what asset can grow your investment or can just grow 30% year over year? There's very few of them. Those are startup numbers. Facebook's growing 10, 20, Amazon started slowing down, Google, because it's so big at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So that's why you're looking for companies that are in their early stages, but are mature enough to be able to grow, and that the market doesn't understand, which gives you the undervaluation that you're looking for.
And you know, I posted a tweet a while back where it was like Wall Street, which is kind of wrong because Wall Street is kind of supporting Palantir to an extent now, but not enough in my opinion, at least, where it's like Wall Street is too dumb for Palantir right now, the same way they were too dumb for Tesla 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You know?
I would agree with that.
I think that's factual.
I think we're at like 40% ownership. And
yeah, no, that's the thing. That's why I felt like I was even putting out the wrong narrative there, where it's like Wall Street is kind of behind Palantir. You know what I'm saying? Like they do rock with us.
Right. I mean, yeah, and if we can get to 65% ownership, that's when the volatility of the stock is going to not be as strong, because there's like Roku has 80% institutional ownership, right? Like when you get it,
but like 60% of that is Kathy. Let's be honest.
It's not 60%, but it's a lot. It's a
lot. Yeah, man. Don't even bring up Roku here, man. I just don't get it. I think Kathy's only savior would be a bull market with Roku.
Right.
That's it. That's all I think. That's
Yeah,
all I think.
I mean, I don't get her thesis on it.
I don't get it. Like, what are they trying to do? You know, like, what is this? Like, does she not know YouTube is here? Does she not? And that's the thing, you know, that's where it's like she kind of loses somewhat credibility for me. Where it's like, yo, you're supposed to be the lady from the future, almost. You know, you're supposed to have an eye for what does the future look like if you own ARC Growth Fund, right? Is Roku that? Is Roku then? What do you think? What do you think of Roku?
I don't get Roku. I mean, their argument is that linear advertising is gonna die and cable TV and like all that's gonna go into Roku. And I'm like, I don't think people are sitting down watching Roku. I just don't. Like, I do not. Now, granted, their argument is like in America, that's true. But in the rest of the world, Roku is like, it's cheap, it's affordable, it's very good television. I get it. I still think content is so competitive to take a bet that advertising dollars are going to flow as your like innovative bet of the future. I'm like, I'll eat my words when I see it happen.
So I don't get what you mean by that. So does she mean like she's gonna do the YouTube model for Roku, like putting ads?
No, so Roku's thesis is that they make a software that OEMs that make TVs like LG, Samsungs of the world, they can use Roku's software because it's smart TVs. Like, when's the last time you bought a TV? You turn it on, there's no Netflix. Like, old TVs are smart TVs.
Yes, yeah.
So in other parts of the world, people that are buying TVs, they want affordable TVs that have cheap operating systems. Those operating systems are not going to be Apple or Amazon because those are very complex systems. And obviously Amazon wants to sell their own TVs. They don't want to sell Roku TVs. Same thing with Apple. So Roku works with like the largest TV manufacturers in the world to make them the simplest software that is optimized for their TVs. And it sounds simple, but making TV software is actually very difficult. It's the reason why like the Apple App Store is so like intuitive. And it's hard to make another mobile app store. So Roku is the Apple App Store of TVs, and they work with a lot of legacy manufacturers. The problem is,
where is the TV industry heading? I think that's the problem.
Because that's the problem is, right? Because like even if I have a Roku TV, where do I go? Netflix. So I'm not watching the Roku channel.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, does she not know Netflix is here? And also the other problem as well, right? It's like, how many people own a TV these days?
Yeah.
Right.
I think TVs will grow and people will buy TVs, but it's just a question of what do you turn on your TV to watch? And I don't think it's going to be Roku.
It's not Roku. It's not Roku.
It's not Roku. Bro.
So I think what Roku needs to do is literally cut all the budget on content production and content buying and content distribution, and just go straight to your software, kind of like Palantir, you know, TV.
Yeah, but the problem is then they don't have any moat. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And so like that's why I don't get what Kathy is like. I just don't get why the hell she's so in love with it. But maybe Roku was at $500 at one point. It was like $496, some ridiculous number.
But I mean,
that's when the whole market was inflated.
Bro, come on, yeah, you know.
So
I know penny stocks that were like
writing.
I mean, it was like $500 or something, $500 fucking 500 million market cap or something. Okay, so now we talk.
Okay, I gotta be out in just 10 minutes, bro. So I'll be out in 10 minutes.
All right. Okay. I will wrap it up. 2050 now. Palantir 2050.
Man,
So
I don't know
it's a little while
if I'm alive.
It's a little while from. It's a
I don't know
little
if I'm
while.
gonna be alive in 2050. Like, you talking about,
It's good. No one will hold you accountable. You know, no one say anything. $1 trillion.
it should be. I mean, it looks so. Palantir wants to be the most important software company in the world. Okay. What are the most important software companies in the world right now? Amazon, Google, Facebook, Apple, and those all are outside of Facebook, which was just there a couple of weeks ago. $1 trillion market caps, multi-trillion-dollar market cap, like $3 trillion, $5 trillion in 2030, 2045 shouldn't be like that much, right?
Yeah.
Like right now,
I meant a stock price. That's why I was like $1 trillion.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, so if Palantir is at $500 with the current number of shares, it'll be at $1 trillion market cap.
Yeah.
If Palantir is at $1,000, that would be a $2 trillion company. If it's at 3,000, that would be a $6 trillion. So it's like 2050, if they become the most important software company in the world, there's no reason we can't pass $1 trillion. But it's a question of if they become the most.
So a number though. 500, you said?
500 would be my bet.
All right. Very nice, very nice.
And by the way, that could happen by 2030. We don't need to wait till 2050 for that. That could happen by 2030.
Okay.
They would have to grow 40% year over year though at that point.
Now we're gonna wrap it up a little bit. We're gonna ask you one more question, and then I got a little stock pick game for you. This is gonna be quick questions. So just to wrap it up though, who was Amit in high school? Tell us about that. A little bit personal, a little bit personal.
Amit in high school was trying to do a lot of things. He joined band, he joined basketball, he was starting freshman JV, point guard. He quit that to do debate. And my high school identity was being a debater, because by the time my junior year, I got so obsessed with debate that I just went all in. So I would say I was trying to be the best debater in the world in high school.
That's awesome. Were you super social? Were you going out?
Well, freshman year, yes, and sophomore year a little bit, but by junior year, my priority was become a national champion, and by that time, my entire social life declined. Like my senior year, my senior day, the senior graduation, that day, I took 0 pictures with any friends when I graduated, because I really didn't have that many friends, because I was so obsessed with debate. But I did have a girlfriend, and I was head over heels for that girl. So
that's beautiful.
Yeah,
and you guys aren't together.
Not anymore. No.
Not anymore. That's sad, man. I actually I'm still with my girlfriend from high school.
From high school? Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
How old are you right now?
I just turned 22.
Just turned 20. That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah. Love it.
Yeah, pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. About I think April is going to be our 6-year anniversary now.
Wow.
Pretty
that's
crazy.
Commitment.
Right?
I love it. That's
crazy. Love, man. Love's a beautiful thing.
Love's a beautiful thing.
Love's a beautiful thing. All right, now moving on to the stock pick game. All right, I'm gonna say 2 stocks. You're gonna say one of them. All right, and a little sentence as to why. So Google versus Microsoft.
Google. Everyone's searching. No one's gonna ever stop searching.
Okay, that one was a shit one. I can't lie. Amazon versus Disney.
Amazon, because Disney is just content and theme parks. Amazon is AWS.
Okay. But the content though. The content though,
But Amazon is Amazon Prime. It's like
okay, that's true. Netflix versus Meta or Facebook.
Netflix versus Meta, Facebook, 100%. Netflix, I don't understand what Netflix's moat is. I don't think they have a moat. I think the content's kind of trash. They don't make any money on the content. Facebook is Instagram and WhatsApp. It's it's big, and the metaverse. I think Facebook's going to be huge. I just don't know when. So.
Yeah, that's good go. Apple versus Tesla.
Tesla.
Oh, Tesla?
If Tesla makes this robot,
but the car is coming out. Right? The Apple car, baby.
Apple car.
You already know all the white girls are gonna love an Apple car. You already know.
That's probably true.
It's gonna be a new cool thing, It's gonna be a new Tesla.
That's probably true. But I love Tesla. Tesla's just Tesla.
Okay. Now. Ready? You ready for this one? You already know where I'm going. Palantir versus Tesla.
Palantir. Because Palantir, I think, can 10x before Tesla. Tesla to 10x would have to be a $10 trillion market cap. Palantir would have to be 100
that to what's that Asian guy's name? Loves Tesla. On YouTube. Beautiful.
Oh, Dave Lee?
Yeah, so kind, so soft spoken. I love him.
Yeah. Dave Lee's a huge Tesla guy. I think Palantir can 10x quicker than Tesla.
Why is that?
Well, Palantir is undervalued, in my opinion, compared to Tesla, which I don't think Tesla is necessarily overvalued, but it is properly valued at $800 billion. They would have to have extreme amounts of growth for that to be able to grow. I think they can get to 1,500 this year or even in the next year, but to get to $10,000 a share, it's going to be a little tough. Whereas Palantir gets $100 a share. I don't think that's that tough.
Okay. Now, Ethereum versus Tesla.
Well, I would invest in Tesla because I understand what Tesla does. Now, I understand Ethereum, but the problem is if crypto and NFTs don't become as big as we think it can become, then forget Ethereum. Coinbase is going down the gutter. Like you have to believe in crypto to believe in ETH and Bitcoin. And I mean, I think they will do well in the next bull market.
I think that's kind of what I meant, right? That's kind of what I meant, where it was crypto versus. Yeah.
I would invest more in Tesla because I know what I'm investing in. Crypto, it's just I'm trying to. I hope it goes up and I'll make money.
Yeah.
Whereas Tesla, I hope it goes up, but I know how it's going to go up. But I don't know how it's going to go up. It's just a bunch of FOMO that's going to happen next time. And then when the FOMO's gone, it might go back down, maybe. So, and I'm not a crypto
But
bear.
isn't that a regular market cycle though? Don't you think that's just kind of
Well, with crypto, it's just way more volatile. You know,
Yeah.
like Bitcoin was at 69. It's
But
down
that's the thing. That's the thing, right? That's also why I said Ethereum and not just crypto.
Well, Ethereum to me is the same thing. It's as volatile as Bitcoin. Now, Ethereum
that's
has
the thing, though.
a use case.
Ethereum-
I agree.
That's what I mean. That's what I
Yeah.
mean, right? Where it's
So,
like,
so like if the world turns into a smart contract digital NFT world using the Ethereum blockchain, maybe there's some value there. But if there's a better blockchain that comes out that's better than Ethereum, like maybe Ethereum isn't that valuable anymore. So I don't know. I mean, we will see.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Great having you, bro. Great
Thank you,
talking
man.
to you.
I appreciate you. Good talk. We'll talk to you later.